Hi. This topic might sound a bit dull, but it's important in the present day context and very important if you want to use your time to its fullest potential. Majority of our reading is now done on the internet, including ebooks, articles, correspondence, newspaper, whatever. So we have to make sure that reading is not reduced to a dull mechanical level and instead is directed to some well-defined purpose. Aimless and undiscerning reading is likely to harm the full development of a person's mental powers. It's not the quantity of the online words that we consume, but the quality of our mental attentiveness and our capacity to assimilate that counts. So many folks are untiring readers, reading millions of words per week sometimes, and yet they have the emptiest of mind. It's a function of what they choose to read and how they read it. Many people spend hours on the internet simply killing time. For them, the internet becomes an escape into an airy nothingness that helps them lose touch with the ugly realities of life. Hence, in a sense, the internet becomes an addiction with a goal to cease to be conscious and to escape into oblivion. Often, late into night, these users of the internet scour the web with no other purpose than to prepare the way for the onset of sleep. Be careful. Addiction to the internet is a dangerous habit. Spending hours on the internet just for the sake of killing time atrophies the mind. Being sucked in by the internet from mere habit hampers the evolution of our mental life. Knowledge energizes life. It makes us aware of our place and obligations and equips us with the capacity to construct effective action. When reading guides us away from a conscious use of time, it's not an activity worth cherishing. Such reading on the internet and social media entails useless expenditure of our energy and prevents us from putting our time to the best possible use. The amount of literature available to each of us has reached proportions that were beyond our imagination just 3 decades ago. Therefore, more than ever, we are called upon to choose that which we ought to read. Given abundant opportunities to waste time, this choice is by no means an easy affair. It requires skill and discipline. Today, it must be an important aim of early education to teach kids how to use the internet productively for themselves. And therefore, children will know to select consciously and with purpose from its immense pasture. For a serious reader, an unlimited storehouse of guidance and inspiration is available. It's by the judicious use of the internet that we come to discover minds akin our own and establish an affinity leading to purpose. To make a productive use of the internet, you can develop a sharply defined attitude based on these 6 points that I will enumerate. Number one, you must be very clear what you're about. Right moral bearings act as a prophylactic of our taste on the internet, just as in every other choice we make in life. The internet is also a helpful tool for discovering what each one of us is designed to assimilate. There's no need to read everything that comes our way. Instead, we must keep loyal to our choices based on our predilections and needs. Outside of business purposes, the internet is valuable for networking with friends, but its real worth comes through as a medium of education. The minutes or hours that you invest in the internet every day must be invested wisely to get good dividends over a period of time. Second, your use of the internet must either educate and enrich you or otherwise constitute a good use of your time. So have the discipline and moral courage to shun material that is meant to beguile us into blind alleys of crude thoughts, unreasonable beliefs, and perverse bigotry. Number three, you must be clear about the function of the material you are called upon to read. The internet is full of the literature of information that makes objective statements about the world we live in, about the discoveries made by humans, about the art of living, about the progress of scientific knowledge, and about the laws of moral and historical order. These are empirical or synthetic judgments, in the words of Kant, that inform us of all that is around us so that we engineer appropriate action to secure the adjustment of our life with the ecology in which our lot is cast. The securing of this adjustment is a biological necessity of our individual and collective life. So focus on the information that's important from your individual or collective perspective instead of assimilating information that's of no real consequence to your life or well-being. Number four, be mindful of the credibility of the source of information and avoid spending your time on dubious sources. Learn from the authorities on the subject. The internet has made it much easier for us to gain access to the vast storehouse of learning over the course of human history and to be the custodian of this heritage of mankind. So, by bringing growing minds into contact with this heritage, the internet has made it easier than we ever imagined to secure the transmission of the cultural and intellectual heritage of mankind from area to area and from generation to generation. Number five, when it comes to the literature of power, the internet can be a double-edged sword. While it can help us explore the truth, it is also an effective tool for consolidating and deepening our biases and preconceived notions. One must be careful and discerning. For me, the test of useful spiritual literature is that instead of sharpening our differences, it pins our attention on the eternal truths of life and helps us attune ourselves to the infinite. It directs our attention to the intangible, gives us a universal viewpoint, and inculcates in us those internal resources needed to appreciate and enjoy life in its true sense. And number six, last but not the least, please avoid opinionated and semi-literate narcissists flying their ego or ignorance on the internet and social media. The internet is not the place to collect trolls, and your social media platforms are no window ledges to be crammed full of these cyber trolls. The internet, like any technology, is a tool. It's not entirely a neutral one, but very much gives us the ability to determine how we use it. The tool is in our hands, and we get to decide what we do with it, like with any other tool. We must use the internet to relate to common denominations of human thinking and feeling instead of creating biases and enhancing hatred. So if I were to recap, the internet has brought almost the entire world and all the great minds to your desks, your doorsteps, minds that are for all people, for all times, and for all occasions. It's uplifting to go to one of them when you can, mine from Plato to Shakespeare to Kahneman to many others. They come to our rescue when we are let down by everything else. To have discovered a few of these souls as kindred spirits is a remarkable achievement that the internet offers to a thoughtful reader. So, the internet can be useful if we use it not to lose ourselves but to recover ourselves. If you adopt this attitude, you will be able to get a lot more out of the internet than mindlessly letting it devour your valuable time. It's like the invention of the printing press. People claim that it would cause the destruction of society, such were its supposed evils, and that's why it was turned away from India, for example. But no, everybody had to learn to choose what they wanted to read. The invention of the automobile, believe me, brought similar concerns with it. But we chose to drive safely and enhance life and to save ourselves from reckless and irresponsible drivers. Now, we are called upon to make the same choices in the use of a smartphone and the internet with their many faces. The moral and conscious obligation is not on the tool, it's on us. Putting the tool down does not fix anything, it just leaves us behind. Change comes from learning to handle the tool productively day in and day out. So, for an objective mind, the internet makes it convenient to perceive the relative value, worth, and truth of things and ideas. When used with purpose, the internet can educate us in the art of living well. It lubricates the rough mechanism of modern day social life and makes us feel at home in an increasingly impersonal world. Now, please comment to share with others your approach to the internet and how you make it productive. Thank you very much.